Now when you start your painting, you might need to rub out your pencil a little bit so it's not quite so dark, because you won't want that to show through when you've painted him. I've only rubbed mine out lightly so that you can see the outline. You can use paints, you can use felt tip pens, whatever that you have that's available. I'm going to show you how to create it using paints. If you are using paints, you can use cotton buds, paint brushes, even the end of a pencil, whatever you find easiest and most effective or enjoy using. Perhaps check with your parents first before you do use the end of a pencil though. So I have got 4 different colours here. I'm going to start with the one that's a bit of a mustard colour. It's actually called ochre jaune or yellow ochre, which was the main colour that I used on my giraffe. These are acrylic paints, but you can use watercolour, you can use poster paints. If you're using watercolour, you probably don't want to make it too watery because it won't be quite as bold. Because I'm going to start just wetting my paintbrush a little bit and showing you how to apply using the tip of your paintbrush. So I'm going to start with the edge of my giraffe's ears, and as you can see I've used the yellow ochre just around the edges and this bit here where it's a little bit thicker, the sort of flap of his ear. So I use the tip of my paintbrush to make the dots, and the idea is that you build them up so that there are quite a few dots to get that full effect, and they're quite close together. Okay. Depending on the size of the tip of your paintbrush, that will sort of determine how small your dots are. You do need to work quite carefully if you're using a paintbrush. If you push too hard, you lose the dot and you get more of a splodge, just like I've just done there. It's almost like a quick dab. I'm going to, rather than working around like I have been, I'm just going to add them more sporadically so you don't just get a line of dots. And you can build those up. And then again, step back and have a look. Now you can see the dots that I've created here are a little bit bigger. That's absolutely fine. And then I'm going to go around the bottom of the ear, like so. Now I'm going to show you what it's like if you do use a cotton bud, just so that you can see the difference. You need to be a little bit careful you don't get stringy bits on the end, because that changes the dot look. They're actually much bigger, the ends of your dots, if you use a cotton bud. So depending on the overall look that you would like, that will help you to decide on what you actually use. These are much bigger, these dots, what you actually use to create your dots. Obviously, if you want to spend a long time over your painting, I suggest you use a smaller paintbrush. If you want to create it quite quickly, using something with a bigger end will be easier. Now, if I'm going to use this cotton bud here, when I want to get this fine line here, I'm going to swap back to my paintbrush. So you can use a little bit of both. Much smaller dots by using the tip of my paintbrush. So on the end here I'm going to start with smaller dots, and as I move around closer to my giraffe's head, I'm then going to swap and use my cotton bud again. Because that's quite a good way start changing the thickness of the line. So I'll start here, quite wide, and then a little dot and get closer. So actually that's a good way to make the line start thick and then go into a point and get thinner. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit more around my giraffe's neck, so I'm going to leave where I want to have my brown spots, which is obviously quite an important feature of your giraffe. Now your spots do not need to be in exactly the same place as the spots that I've done. If you want to sketch out where you would like the spots to be to start with, then if you find that helpful, then by all means do that. And actually, as the spots are obviously darker, it wouldn't matter if you waited for your paint to dry and added your darker spots over the top. That wouldn't be a problem at all. And again, if you do them a bit more sporadically, it helps it to look less like a line of dots. Sometimes find as well with cotton buds that they wear out after a while or get a little bit stringy, so just be a little bit aware of that. And they're really good for, like I said, big bold dots. If you've got an area where you want smaller dots, then perhaps swap to a smaller paintbrush or the end of a pencil. These are very good for building up the colour quite quickly. So I've left these bits so that I can put my dark spots in there. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the horns. Now at the top of the horns, or the ossicones, I'm leaving those dark brown. So I will just do my dots towards the top and leave that ready for my dark brown paint.